TV's Rick Blood is here.
Rick Blood. Rick Blood.
Rick Blood. Three Blood.
Hey, that's cool.
Welcome to Unfiltered. This is January 8th, 2010. We are back for another year, at least another year. And I got to start out by saying that today, on Friday, is my cousin, Marine Corps Master Sergeant Tim Scribner's birthday. I believe he just hit 37, I think is what he is, today. And from what I understand, he's coming back from Japan next week. So he'll be rejoined with his family down in North Carolina. Leanne, Patrick, and Connor. And I've got to say, Facebook's kind of cool. Because my cousin's wife, Leanne, she lives down in South Carolina with two small kids. And one day she posted on Facebook that she has to try and figure out a way to explain to her kids that Indiana Jones and Han Solo are not the same guy. It's one guy, he's an actor, and he
needs to stop
plays the roles.
He needs to go back to
and it'll get worse, Leanne, because once they see like Patriot games and that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Bruce.
Stop moving
I
around.
slid in my chair and freaked Bruce all out.
Dude, you're scooching around since you got in the damn chair.
Sorry. But anyway, yeah, it'll get tougher, Leanne. And as far as the post this morning, don't sweat it. Probably heard it here on this show. One of the kids came up to her, I'm not sure how old he is. The older one, Patrick. Said, apparently he walked out this morning and said, that's just like smoking grass. Andrea, I'm pretty sure Leanne's face looked just like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. But, yeah. And he won't tell her where he heard it. So. My first thought was, she shouldn't let him watch this show. Oh, well, but anyway, happy birthday, Tim, and welcome home. A good thing you live in South Carolina and not North Dakota, because Thursday, wind chills, 52 below zero. In much of the Midwest. But North Dakota saw 52 below zero in Bow Bells, which is in northwestern North Dakota. The Burke County Deputy Auditor said the air freezes your nostrils, your eyes water, and your chest burns from breathing. And that's just going from the house to the vehicle. Yeah. It was bump, bump, bump all the way to work with flat spots on my tires. It was a pretty rough ride. Yeah. But they're having like tons of snow out there. And I mean, for all the talk about global warming, there are freeze warnings in Florida. They're worried about the orange crops. And for all you people that happen to eat fruits and vegetables, the price will go up and skyrocket. You'll pay like $8 for orange or something. But, you know, well, just be like me and don't eat that stuff. It's not good for you. Let me talk about something. You know, I really hate we've missed a lot. Really. We missed a huge almost terror attack on Christmas Day. Attempted, thank you, Bruce, attempted terrorist attack. And once again, it was foiled by not the CIA, not the intelligence agencies, not the flight attendants. It was foiled by vigilant passengers. People like you and me.
Well, that and the guy's own stupidity, because apparently he didn't get the mixture right, and he burnt his own shorts up.
Oh, is that what it was?
Well, if he'd have done it right, it would have been a bigger explosion, but all they heard was a little pop.
Well, I think the underwear that he bought was old. It was an underwear bomb, much like the shoe bomb from years ago, only in the underwear. Apparently, there's like clothing stores over in the Middle East that sell all this stuff. And this particular product is called kabloomers. Yeah. Big seller, too, from what I understand. They're a lot less noticeable than suicide vests, but they still, pack as big a punch. Anyway, but that wasn't what really upset me in the news. I happened to, of course, Cheshire TV's been closed for a week and a half. But as a Cheshire TV employee, I find myself obligated to once in a while at least run by Channel 8 to see what's on and make sure something's on. So I happened to catch an episode of Capital Access, which is produced over in Concord. It's one of those political shows where they talk to like the guys that think they're smart. And there was a senatorial candidate, David Boughton. I just have to say, sir, you're an idiot. Really. The things that came out of your mouth, I'm pretty sure you didn't even think about when you said them. And I just want to mention the biggest thing that kind of shook me. They asked him about, the host of the show said, well, you're pro-life. And he said yes. And the host asked him, how do you feel about end-of-life issues? And the guy says, well, I'm against euthanasia. I've always been against euthanasia, and I will always be against euthanasia. Euthanasia isn't little kids in the Middle East, in the Far East. Euthanasia is putting people to sleep. The host then asked him why, and he says, it's because I'm Catholic, and only God should decide who dies. That was where he lost me, because I know for a fact that if this guy dropped with a heart attack, he would call the ambulance, he'd be begging doctors to save his life, even though God said his time was up. If you're going to spout religious reasons for anything having to do with end of life or beginning of life, then you better never, ever go and see a doctor. You better trust your life in God. That's all I'm saying. You can't say I'm against, living wills or pulling the plug or whatever. For one thing, if somebody's plugged in, that's not, the religious thing. Apparently somebody's trying to smite God by keeping somebody else alive. God's pulling this way. We're pulling this way. So make up your mind. You're either going to be, religious, and believe in what you preach. And when you fall down and you go, I'm having trouble breathing, I think I'm having a heart attack, lay there and die. Because, according to religion, when your number is up, your number is up. So, and I'm going to get back into more healthcare issues later because, it'll be good, but I want to wait till all the little kids have gone away because I'm going off. Let me give you some funny stuff. Apparently a woman in New York, she's suing a gym in New York because she was taking a class and she fell off the pole and hurt herself. It's a pole dancing class. One of these exercise pole dancing classes. This girl slipped, fell on the floor, and hurt herself. Apparently, she told an instructor she couldn't hold herself up during an upside-down maneuver, but the instructor didn't help her. So, I don't know. She's seeking unspecified damages. And she says the gym didn't supervise the pole dancing class properly. That's why if you're going to take a pole dancing class, do it in a strip club where there's lots of people around. That's funny. Anyway. Tallest building in the world opened this week in Dubai, which is in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if it's part of Saudi Arabia or if it's a separate country or if it's part of Kuwait or Oman or Yemen. It's not Yemen, I don't think. That's our next battlefield. Battlefield Yemen. We'll go from Iraq to Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen. And then we'll almost be done. At some point, I think we're going to have to take out Syria, too. Because I think you'll find that after Yemen, Syria helps the terrorists. All right. Anyway, tallest building in the world in Dubai. And I hope nobody flies a plane into it. It seems that putting a very tall building like that in the Middle East, the terrorists wouldn't have to come all the way over here to fly into a building. They could just fly into one real close. Maybe they just put it up there for practice. I notice it gets real skinny at the top, so maybe these terrorist pilots are going to, try and as long as they fly over, the basic footprint of the building, then it's a success. But terrorist bombers are just like kamikaze pilots. The best ones die in training. All right, I won't do that one. We'll do this one because this always... What was that, Bruce?
Wouldn't it be easier, instead of building a real tall one, just build one that's, kind of tall, but put a big hole in the middle like a donut?
To fly
That way
through.
They can fly right through it.
Yeah.
That way they don't wreck stuff.
That makes sense. Which one of these do I want to do first? We'll do this one. From Twin Cities. Another one from out west. In Wisconsin. Apparently the Department of Natural Resources report in Wisconsin says hunters shot 10 buildings this year. No, it's down from 25 in 2008, 19 in 2007, and 15 in 2006. The report describes the buildings as homes and barns.
Did they see the white tail on it?
It says more rural residential development has put more buildings on the landscape. So apparently, it makes it more of a chance for them to be hit by bullets. 4 of the shootings involved... authorities determined the identity of the shooter in 5 of the incidents. They actually figured out who shot the building. That's because you should always have somebody else load your weapons. That way their fingerprints are on the bullets. I seen that on NCIS. That's where I got that from. Never load your own bullets, man.
Hey, Rick, can you stop over my house and load my gun for me?
Sure, I'd be happy to load your gun, Bruce. I keep telling my daughter's boyfriend, I've been to prison and I ain't scared to go back. Keeps him on the up and up. 4 of the shootings involved a rifle and another 4 were shotgun hits. So the weapon in the remaining 2 incidents was unknown. Could have. I don't know.
Like probably just, the guy was dumb enough to admit it.
He could have confessed. I can't take it. I did it. Like this guy. How many times do I have to scream about old people and driving? We've either got to like stop giving them their license or take all the buildings off of the world. Port Orange, Florida. Diners at the Biscuits and Gravy and More restaurant in Port Orange received a surprise when a car plowed into the side of the building. A 92-year-old man was at the wheel. He wasn't hurt, but he said the driver wasn't hurt, but the cook said a customer had just left the damaged seating area. The driver asked if, after he got out of the car,
Yeah.
he calmly got out of the sedan and placed his order. That's what it says. The driver asked if anyone was hurt, and there was a very minor injury. But once he was sure that all was well, he just sat down and ate. Damage is estimated at about $25,000. And he was cited after breakfast for careless driving. Jeez, I bet that $25,000, $25,006.25 omelet was good. That's crazy. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I need that one again. This one, I just pulled this today, and I didn't really read down through through a lot of it, but I pulled it because it says the First Lady requires more than 20 attendants. Michelle Obama. I'll tell you for what. And I'll tell you how much they make. Chief of staff. Whatever a chief of staff does for a housewife. $172,000. Deputy Assistant to the President and Director of Policy and Projects for the First Lady. Which I'm pretty sure this is the person that plans out the macaroni gluing on the construction paper projects. $140,000. The White House Social Secretary. $113,000. Director of Communications for the First Lady. Apparently this is who answers her phone and hands her the mail. $102,000. Yeah, to hand the First Lady her mail. Director of Communications. Michelle says, oh, I've got Christmas cards to mail. This person mails them. Deputy Chief of Staff to the First Lady. $90,000. I mean, the lowest one on here I can see is the Staff Assistant to the Social Secretary. $36,000 a year. We have Director of Correspondence for the First Lady. We have Special Assistant for Scheduling and Traveling Aid for the First Lady. You know something? I think if she's such a great damn lady, she should start doing some shit herself.
We didn't elect her. What the hell are we paying all that crap for?
It is unbelievable. 26 servants. Let me look at some of the names. None of them are really no. None of them are Latino at all. Anyway, that's outrageous. I mean, she's the first lady. She is no different than any other housewife mother. There's social secretary. Director of Scheduling and Events Coordinator for the First Lady. So if she ever has an event, she can't. Apparently, she doesn't do her own calendar. Trip Director, Personal Aide to the First Lady, Press Secretary for the First Lady. Just in case she feels like saying something. Staff Assistant. Unbelievable. All right. Let's get into crew call, I guess. So we get our mind off of the whole political stuff. On camera 3 is Greg. I had to count and remember which way I hooked him up. I didn't know if I hooked him up backwards again for Bruce. Yeah, I know Bruce would have swapped him. And Bruce and Andrea are back.
It's got to be right for me in here, man. I'm the one that's got to make sure everybody knows what we're seeing. So
Yeah, I know.
But Christmas was good, man. We had a good holiday. And then right after Christmas, I got to have my ear worked on. Went in for surgery for get the skin cancer removed off the top of my left ear. It's been growing on there apparently a couple of years, from what the doc was saying. He had to go pretty deep. They took about a third of my ear off the top. Had the Van Gogh procedure done, and then they didn't take it from my ass, but he did take a skin graft off my left collarbone, and ended up putting it on my ear, trying to rebuild my ear a little bit, but.
Probably figured you didn't have enough ass as it is.
That's right. I got very little ass. And I already have enough hair growing in places that I'm not used to having hair growing, and I didn't need the top of my ears growing hair too. So.
If you needed ass, you'd have to get mine.
But had the stitches out yesterday, so still recovering from that. Still a little tender. But
I would have demanded fresh skin right off a baby's butt. So I would have.
Baby's butt skin.
That's right.
I don't know any babies we could have got it from, though.
I want nice soft ears.
Smooth. You're just twisted, man. That's wrong. But no, other than that, start of a brand new year, 2010. So how do we abbreviate that? Just do we, is it just 10? Or it would be
No,
better
I'm gonna start saying 2010.
2010.
2010. Yeah, because 2010 sounds stupid. Sounds too movie-like. 2110 doesn't work either. So yeah, 2010 sounds cool.
Okay, works for me then.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time already though, because I had to write the date several times. Gone to work this past week and having to fill out paperwork. I kept having to cross it out, write typo.
Oh, every
my
show
God,
that I
it's
put
so
in.
hard to write 10 instead of 09.
Every show that I put in for this week, when I ingested them into the computer last week, I put 01, 03, 09, and had to go back and change every single one of them. Because I didn't want Lee to look at them and go 09, and not remember that I'm a retard.
But on a good note, we're only about 5 weeks away from Daytona.
Yeah.
So NASCAR season's coming back, and
Well,
they
that's
did
right.
change the format for the Bud Shootout. Remember last year they screwed it all up and pretty much made a lot of the drivers that should have been in it ineligible to run. But this year they went ahead and they changed it to I don't know. Do you want to explain it?
They had, I don't remember all of it. I don't remember all of it. but
Basically, it was
they're
everybody
like-
that was in the chase, the top 12 drivers, any past champions, Cup champions, any past winners of the shootout, and winners of Daytona points races.
Yep.
So
okay.
it couldn't have been like a promotional, fun shootout kind of a race. It had to have been actual winners of the Daytona 500 or the Pepsi 400.
I think they
So
got about 23.
There's, I think it was about 28
Oh, 28.
drivers that are eligible to run it, and Kenny Schrader is going to be running one of the Red Bull racing cars, number 82, that Scott Speed normally drives. They're going to allow Kenny Schrader to drive that this year, in the Bud Shootout at least. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, just looking forward to a better year than we had last year, and you know, I welcome any warming that the globe wants to go with, because I'm tired of cold already. It's only January and winter's been too long. So
Now
No
it's
doubt.
nice to have another new baby.
yeah, Jimmy Johnson's expecting, gonna be in July, yada yada yada. So, all right, back to you, Rick.
All right. Hey, I got some news. New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You guys look puzzled in there. New Hampshire Motor Speedway at Loudon, February 20th and I believe it's 20th and 21st. The first annual Snow Bowl. Snowmobile racing and like freestyle snowmobile stunt stuff. A weekend event. The dude I saw on Channel 9 being interviewed said they expect to bring $1 million worth of revenue into New Hampshire that weekend in the middle of winter. Apart from the skiers and everything else, $1 million more into our economy. And that is awesome. And I mean, snowmobile racing you don't see, and apparently from what I understand, they used to do it out there. They used to have it every year, and they would actually race on the track. But this year, I believe they're racing in one of the parking lots,
Yeah.
I believe, so as not to, so as not to damage the track, I would imagine.
Well, I think the holdup originally was there was an ordinance in place that said that they couldn't do anything at the track from specific months in the winter.
That's right.
And
That's
they
right,
had
that
to-
is what
they
it
had
was.
to get that ordinance rescinded or modified in some way to allow them to do it in the wintertime.
Maybe they've been such a good neighbor for the last few years.
I mean, how can you argue with $1 million in revenue? I mean, and not just for the track people. We're talking hotels and beer stores and everything, restaurants, everything, gas stations. Yeah, it's going to be great. All right. I might as well go into this now. Now, let me do a couple other stupid ones before the musical interlude. This one I found an advertisement for one of Britain's biggest gyms has created outrage. The ad says, advanced health warning. When the aliens come, they will eat the fatties first. That's an ad for a gym. And it's got a little picture of an alien. Like a space alien. I know, it's mean, Andrea. The place is attached to the Cadbury House Hotel. Yeah. This one woman who suffered an eating disorder as a teenager believes the sign should be removed immediately. She says, I would think that their hotline is very hot with people phoning to complain about this degrading and offensive advertising. But, yeah, perhaps the gym should reconsider their approach. I mean, you know, everybody pushes, you know, that perfect body. You know, and it's not there anywhere. I mean, even the perfect body's not the perfect body. I've been to Las Vegas, the land of, I've started referring to Vegas as Silicon Valley. You know? But ain't nothing real out there. And it's, you know, there was I was forced over the past week to watch a lot of episodes of Law and Order because they weren't having any NCIS marathons or JAG marathons or Burn Notice. So I watched some Law and Order, and there was one story about somebody attacking fat people because they were fat. You know, and the whole, it's just hate, really, I think. And whether it's, you know, we say that we've come a long way in civil rights and racial equality and this and that, but we haven't. We still hate anybody that's different, you know. And I actually went through that because on one of my earliest shows, I made the remark that I don't like a lot of fat people because being excessively fat and overweight is unhealthy. So it doesn't make sense to make friends with somebody who could drop dead anytime. Honestly, you know, and there are people like that. And whether they just don't care or whatever, I mean, I will never have, you know, probably 1% body fat, you know. And believe me, I complained all the time. I was 99 pounds when I graduated high school. I was on the wrestling team in high school, and they had to create a division for me. No other wrestlers in any other school was less than 105 pounds, which is why I was only on the team for one meet, because I didn't like wrestling guys bigger than me, and I lost. It was like when I played Pee Wee football. My first game, I was a running back. They gave me the football. I ran up to the line. Some little fat kid fell on me. I walked off the field up to my dad and said, "Dad, I don't think I want to play this game." And he's like, "Okay." You know, it'll be something else. But anyway, it's, you know, yeah, I digressed an hour ago. In Michigan, 9 Detroit area high school juniors are in trouble for wearing sweatshirts that apparently bears a design that evokes the terrorist attacks that destroyed the World Trade Centers. The shirts belong, the boys are Arab American, as are about half the school's 1,700 students. And they belong to the 2011 class. And on the shirts, the number 11 resembles 2 buildings with the school's Thunderbird mascot flying toward them. Printed beneath the image are the words, "You can't bring us down." Sounds like a great shirt to me. Sounds like a very patriotic shirt to me. But the boys are to meet with school officials, but suspensions are not planned. The public school spokesman said the shirts are offensive and in poor taste. Crazy. All right, let's do some music. A little musical interlude. The Mom's Tattoo musical interlude this week from this year's Keene Music Festival is Human Wine.
Shelter our heads from the poison wind. Squat or rot with the rest of our kin, petrified. Tongues twisted and tied, reciting your ridiculous lies in their minds. A figment of its myself. Their hearts are relic on the shelf. The tenders of the soil, they're loyal to the royal. The bubbles reach to boil. These seeds are ours. A gala for Eris, lady of all chaos. Children carve altars to you in their skin unwarlike. In our way of mind, we are bound to rouse and rise. Those who still endure the sham, all of the orphans of Uncle Sam, raised in erudite scorn from birth. They'll do the job better for half what they're worth, and their backs are broken, but their hearts are pure. So leave your ego at the door. The keepers of the spoils, they leech off others' toil. You're spilling blood for oil. These seeds are ours. We'll take what we grew. We didn't plant it for you, so work for once. These seeds are ours. Wrinkled-faced, secure the right to discern which to keep and which to burn, and you'll see the world through onyx eyes. Watch your world flip on its side and surrender, and surrender, and surrender, and surrender. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Family built of blood and rust, find a place because we must shelter our heads from the poison wind, squat or rot with the rest of our kin, and surrender, and surrender, and surrender, and surrender. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
All right, Human Wine. Yeah, they were dark, brooding, and but I mean, they were all right. They reminded me of the old, like, the gypsy feel, you know, like you used to see in the old movies, the gypsies in the wagons and stuff, you know. But cool band, I guess. All right. Trying to think. Today they've been screaming all about President Obama's campaign promise that the healthcare debate would be broadcast on C-SPAN. And now apparently it's not going to, and he's breaking his promises or whatever, and it's stupid.
Is that enough to impeach?
Nah, I don't know. I don't think we need to really impeach him because I don't think he's going to win a second term. I think he's done enough right now so that, I mean, there are politicians that are bailing out of politics because they don't want to be near him. You know, on both sides. I guess Chris Dodd announced that he's not going to continue. He's going to retire or whatever from politics. A couple other ones. And then you find, well, I heard this week that the government has just uncovered a terror plot that was supposed to happen on Inauguration Day. But it didn't. So, I don't know how they just now getting around to figuring it out. Apparently they were going through somebody's trash or, you know, garbage picking at a dump or something and came across something. Like, hey, look. Maybe the underwear bomber had some kind of input, but yeah, the underwear bomber. Was it 6 years ago or 8 years ago? The shoe bomber, Richard Reed, got on and tried to light his shoe on fire on an airplane. I didn't even think you could get a lighter on an airplane anymore. But
At that point, they had already put in that you couldn't even bring nail clippers on board an aircraft.
yeah,
So they had already stepped up security, and
security's stepping up even more now.
that's good. They need to.
Apparently. A lot of airports are going to start installing full body scanners, which a lot of people are saying, you know, it's an invasion of privacy, blah, 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 this and that. It's going to slow everything down. But, I mean, how do you address an issue like this? It does no good because whatever security measures you're using today, somebody will figure out how to sidestep tomorrow. There's nothing that you can do. Every time you come up with something new, somebody will figure out how to get around it. Guaranteed. I happen to think, why not take this whole deal and let's make it work for us? You know, if I fly once a year, do I need to go to the doctors and get checked out? Because I've had a full body scan done. Couldn't they tell if there was something in there? You know? I think it would be simple. They put, like, you know, as well as having a security guy looking at the screen, have a security guy and a doctor standing there. And when you come out, they can go, oh, you don't have any bombs, but I noticed a spot on your kidney you might want to have checked out. I'm just saying, let's not just take this technology
That's a great
and use
idea.
it for one thing. We need to use this technology for a number of things. You know, and if you can accomplish a complete MRI by taking a flight, I don't see why you gotta go to the doctors. And of course, while I was thinking about that, I started thinking about all of the whole healthcare thing and my whole deal. You know, I don't have insurance. I work for a company that's got 4 guys, so we'll never have insurance. You know, but yet I'll be ostracized because I'm a smoker. I'll be ostracized because I'm a drinker. I'll be ostracized because I like to eat crappy food. Fast, unhealthy food. And people are going to tell me I'm messing up the healthcare system. Yeah, you know, I'm not jumping out of an airplane with a parachute. I'm not rock climbing 1,000-foot cliffs. I'm not racing cars or racing motorcycles. I'm not ski jumping. I'm not playing football, baseball, soccer, horse riding, none of that dangerous stuff. Why aren't those people ostracized? I choose to smoke. Sure, that'll kill me in, I don't know, 20, 30, 50, 100 years. Somebody that crashes a motorcycle could die like that. Or be so messed up he'll spend days in surgery. You know, don't piss on me because I smoke. Piss on people that do dangerous things in their lives. You know? And let's start with the thousands of rotator cuff surgeries because baseball players throw their arms out. That's thousands of procedures that would never, ever have to be done if people would stop playing baseball. It's stupid and it's boring. Get a job. I found out the head guy on Avatar, the dude that's from Australia. He's a new actor in the United States, and he plays one of the leading roles in Avatar. He didn't even want to be an actor. He was a bricklayer. I saw him on The View today because I had nothing better to do. All right, let me get back to the whole healthcare thing. Were you going to say something, Bruce? No? Okay. Just let me dig a hole deeper and deeper and deeper. Go ahead. Because I really didn't know where I was going to go from here. I just knew that I was real upset because people tell me I shouldn't smoke, but yet guys are base jumping off buildings, you know? Bungee jumping, whitewater rafting, snowmobiling on the ice, motorcycles, four-wheelers. You get my point. People do dangerous things. What can you do? So leave me alone for my smoking. At least with me smoking, the government can make money off every pack of cigarettes I buy. That's another thing. Don't tax the hell out of something and then tell people to quit. You know, we've got, $1.50 a pack cigarette tax, and they want me to quit. Well, then where are they going to get all that money? It's not, I don't know. But a lot of people still ask me how I feel, you know, how's my heart, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I went to the high school restaurant today. I had a cup of yummy, delicious chicken cordon bleu, creamy soup, probably, you know, cholesterol in that. And I had scallops Alfredo. And I'm pretty sure I asked for half the amount of pasta that they usually serve and got a huge plate. Pretty sure that can kill me. I still eat pizza. I still eat, you know, all the junk food. And somebody asked me one day, I was out on the porch having a cigarette, and he came up and he goes, "You still smoke?" And I went, "Yeah, I had a heart attack, not lung cancer. When I get lung cancer, I'll quit smoking and start chewing." Until my lips fall off, yeah. I don't know. But most of the stuff is crap. Anderson Cooper last night, and because you've got a doctor in front of your name or you've got PhD in your title, you're supposed to be smart. Anderson Cooper read a report last night or the night before from a dude who was at one of the poles or the Arctic Circle or something, and he said that he noticed that well above average temperatures and glaciers retreating at an unbelievably fast rate, and global warming is happening for sure. And I was going, wow. This was a report that came from the Arctic Circle in 1922. Yeah. Almost 100 years ago. Somebody thought the Earth was getting warmer and we wouldn't live another 10 years. You know, I chalk it up to who these people are that are telling us all this information. The doctors that are telling me that smoking's bad for you. One doctor told me smoking closes up your blood vessels. It contracts your blood vessels. I said, good. If I ever start bleeding, I'll smoke a cigarette. And I'll stop bleeding. Doctors, scientists, remember, these are all people that paid an extraordinarily large amount of money to go to college and party. Yeah.
My doctor, when he was going to be doing my ear, he told me that I should cut down on my smoking because it's not good, you know, it's not healthy for the skin graft. It doesn't allow the blood to flow correctly because it does constrict the capillaries and the veins and stuff like that. But then he told me I shouldn't be drinking because it could increase the chance of my bleeding. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm smoking and slowing down the blood process and the drinking alcohol will increase the process, wouldn't they cancel each other out?
So see, there you go. You can smoke as long as you drink while you're smoking.
That's what I was thinking, but
You see, doctors don't know anything.
I didn't push the theory. I didn't test it, but I was thinking this.
And I was just reminded of the story that Greg told us on the porch. And I remembered seeing it on the news because taxpayers in New York are up in arms that they're paying huge taxes, and the New York, I believe it was the New York City Health Department, spent like $238,000 to create healthy heroin pamphlets or whatever. Yeah, it's basically a guide on how to shoot yourself up with heroin safely. Because one of the main rules of being a heroin junkie, never ever let anyone else shoot you up. Because they might give you something else and save the heroin for themselves. That's where I figure it probably started, was because heroin addicts don't even trust each other. Because one heroin addict would just assume, shoot his buddy full of melted baking soda and he'd take all the heroin, And his buddies are like, well, this stuff ain't very good. No, because it's baking soda. But yeah, a pamphlet on how to shoot yourself up, how to properly dispose of needles, the whole 9 yards, safe heroin use. And, I can't blame the taxpayers. That's nothing the city should be pushing, really. On the other hand, yes, it's a good way to thin out the population. You just, go, oh yeah, all you heroin users, go ahead. Use a little more every day. So, what else have I got? I think that's all I got written down. And I got like 3.5 minutes? 2.5 minutes? All right. Let me give you a couple of these. I've actually got a comedy show tonight at 7 o'clock at Yankee Lanes. I'm emceeing the Chicken and Biscuits comedy troupe. That's the name that Wade came up with. It sounds a little corny, but I mean, well, we're 7 to 9. Yes, our show, Unfiltered, goes from 6 to 7. So as soon as the show is over, because you don't want to miss any of my, pithy nuances here at the end of the show, stick the end of the show out. We've got new credits. And then, shoot out. Don't like speed or anything. Not that I've called the cops and had them waiting all up along West Street. But, take your time. There's plenty of laughs for everyone to go around. Anyway, and it should be fun. But my book reminded me of that. Because the first show we did at Yankee Lanes, I threatened to whip out the book of useless information. And people were actually waiting for it. I had a lady today come into the studio and say that last week's episode, the Just the Facts episode, was fantastic. She loved it because she loves the Just the Facts segment. And American football has 4 seams. I don't know. It doesn't say.
1 minute.
Sprinters on track teams started taking a crouching start in 1908. Before then, they just stood around and started running. Anise is the scent on the artificial rabbit that is used in greyhound races. Yeah. Nothing like watching them greyhounds pile up in one of the turns either. That's always fun. Michael Jordan shaves his head on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Half a minute.
All right. Up next on No Spin, they have the new police chief. I have no idea who he is. But I guess on No Spin, we're going to get introduced to the new police chief. Also, Chris and Randy will have Dr. Wrath and Scott Bergeron on talking about the Penguin Plunge, which is coming up, I believe, in February. So I want to thank my crew, thank Mom's Tattoo. Till next week, peace.
Stop. There are kids watching. That's no way to teach kids how to behave.
Refreshments provided by G. Housen Distributors. Premium beverages delivered.